Gary Peterson here. Today we're going to look at the difference in the swing from a beginner right through to an advanced or even elite sort of player standard. On the backhand side, that is. And so what happens is there's different types of swings. The advanced or the elite players don't hit the ball the same way every single time. And yet we generally tend to teach beginners one type of swing. One swing that fits all, and so therefore that builds muscle strength, and therefore you build that muscle strength to be able to go and do the elite and advanced stuff. So here's a beginner swing, and it's quite nice, and it moves around and it's okay. And here's an elite swing, and it's more punchy, it's stronger, it's more of a pendulum swing, and it goes on. But we'll go through and we'll show you how it works. So for a start, when you have a beginner, you generally ask them to work on preparation. So you need to get preparation really early, and you need to activate body. So the beginner swing tends to teach, people teach to step 45 degrees, around about there, body back, body around, bring your racket round, down around the back of your body, and then to turn, and finish. So it becomes this pathway of the racket which goes around your body. Around this way. So it's all about preparation mostly, and so you try and a lot of coaches will try and have early preparation, get the shoulder back, and then to bring the body through. And so it's a body hit more than an arm hit. When you get beginners that don't know what they're doing, they start to do this, and they're trying to just throw their arm and throw their racket through the ball. But as you get a little bit better as a beginner, you start to understand it's about the body through the ball. The more you can do the body. So I get my body back, body through, and it goes without any effort at all. So once I understand that, the next stage is the preparation. The preparation has to happen so they can get the body through. So it's racket over and around and through, and that's not a very good hit, but never mind. Elite players will use a beginner swing. So they will use it. So it's not like you learn it and then you never use it again. Because if you've got to go all the way out here, you've got to do all that. But generally, if the ball's in here, you start to go towards a pendulum swing. So as we get better from a beginner swing, which is around this way, and around this way, and around this way, we start to straighten up a little bit more. In other words, we swing down the floorboard. And so the swing path becomes, instead of this, around this way, it becomes over here, down here, and out this way. So it becomes more of a pendulum swing. So I still use my body, and I still do all the same stuff, but you tend to use everything out in front of your body more. So if I try and go there and do a pendulum swing, that's a terrible shot. There, pendulum out, that's better. Because what happens is generally the ball should always go straight. The first one, I just had a bad position. The ball will just go straight. So there's a few things that happen once you realise that you're moving from beginner through to intermediate. What happens is you end up following through more out this way, and that maintains the line of your racket down the floorboard, that way. So you stop doing this, and if you think about this, the racket's only in the right spot for a split second of time, and then it's away. But down the pendulum, it goes there and it's still in the right line of the ball. So what happens is when we go there and we pendulum, the ball goes directly down to target. So that's the first stage of becoming more an intermediate standard sort of player. The next stage is to get rid of all the big stuff. So as you get better, what happens is you actually get rid of all this big wind up, because it's unneeded. It becomes more about muscle strength than it does become about racket speed. So you build the muscle strength, your muscles get stronger, you can do everything off a shorter swing. So you'll keep everything relatively compact, and you'll swing through and swing out. Racket finished out, down the floorboard, everything started to become more and more compact. So as you get better again, what happens is you're just going to reduce and reduce and reduce all that. So you're going to reduce everything even further. So you're going to have a lower prep. So now we're going from intermediate through to advanced. We're going to go with a lower prep. So a lower prep, and everything can be done around here and finish up around here. So if I keep a low prep here, and I get a really quick outcome off a very short, sharp, fast swing. So I've reduced the time it takes to prep my racket because I don't have time because the ball's on me faster and I'm in awkward positions more often. So I've actually reduced and reduced and reduced. I've reduced my prep. I've started with a lower preparation, so not up here. I started with a lower preparation, and I've started to actually use my wrist a little bit more through the ball. But it comes off a strong foundation and a strong base. When you go from intermediate through to elite, what happens is the wrist starts to activate. So wrist, what happens is this: if I do this with my arm, I can do the same movement with the racket head. That movement there, see the racket head there? The same movement with the racket head happens with my wrist. So if I can do that, if I start there and do that there through the ball, what happens is that there can impart pace and power on the ball off a short swing. What that does, it opens up options. It gives you the ability to play a boast. It gives you the ability to cross court really quickly. It gives you the ability to take the ball earlier when your body's out of position. That short swing, short prep, when the ball's out there, you can still do this out here. So I can still do all that out there to a certain degree. So the wrist and body strength, once you attain it, the world opens up as far as elite goes. So then when you activate your wrist through the ball here, there, and you get a snappy sort of hit. So the ball goes from there, that's on the wall, here. It gets very snappy, very sharp, very fast. And so it gets very, very capable here. And it's just like I use funny terms sometimes, like a gunshot. It's just bang, it's just gone. So there's none of this sort of big backswing, big turn and big hit. It's here and it's bang and it's through. There, bang and it's through. So it makes it harder to read because from here, there's a nice little sharp drop shot off an instant swing. So from beginner, all the way from here, around your body, straighten it up, shorten everything, include the wrist, maintain the follow through, maintain body structure. You have to build the strength and you'll just become seriously good. So there you go, that is your beginner backhand, right through to general elite. Now this is all very general because there's other little intricacies and everything, but it's very much a general video. So you can show how you can progress your swing as you get better. So the first stage of that is for you to identify which level you're up to, and then to understand what you need to learn, and then to find out the information that you require to go and get the right next techniques, things you need to change or things you need to develop to go and get to that next level. And then you always feel really, really great if you're improving. So there's always something to improve on. So just work on it and see how you go. After that, it comes down to front foot and being highly capable of back foot at the same time, no matter where the ball is in relation to your body, activating off strong body. So there's a fair bit in it, but that's your beginner, right through to elite. Hope you enjoyed it.